Oh, got it.
But I pressed it, and any moment now we should be live on YouTube. If that's the case, hello and welcome. I'm going to post shortly a link for people watching immediately to join or watching as it's streamed to join on Zoom, and you can ask your questions in Zoom. And that's always the option if you get the chance to make it to the stream. To find out when the stream will be happening and get the link, you can go to the website, which I'll also post, and put your email in the email um, list thing on the front, and that sends the update. But also, you can find the update on all my social media channels, or at least YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Oh, that's my email address. That isn't the website. The website is that. So we ask in the Zoom when you're not speaking to make sure that you're muted and that your questions are something that is relevant for the entire audience. Usually, those who are drawn to these containers will synchronistically ask questions that are for everybody in the space, just by whatever is the most meaningful in your journey might happen to be what inspires others as well. Though it's good to be a bit conscientious. Sorry, sometimes we can ask a personal question, but there's a way of wording it that might make it even more helpful to other people so that they can relate and it isn't just something all about your story, which is fine when we do personal sessions. And actually, doing a personal session is a way to go a lot deeper if there are things that you're processing or that you want to specifically explore about your own connections to guides or to the Pleiadian Council, or just in general exploring your own journey. We can do personal sessions, and all of the information about that is available on the website dantestarshine.com, as well as the information on the channeling course and the channeled book, Guidebook to Living Love on Earth. And these sessions are hosted freely, though donations are always accepted. If you would like, you can check out the contact/book a session page, and that has all of the ways you can get in touch with me and also ways you can donate to support these sessions. And I really appreciate that. I just was trying to plug myself in before getting started because that's quite some battery, but it's not totally full. And now I'm like, where did I put the charging thing? Charging one. I'm just gonna go with faith that it's gonna be enough for this session and charge it again after, because not in the obvious places right now, and I'd like to get started. So you can also ask your questions live um, by typing them out if you can't speak for whatever reason today, though obviously you'll get more clarity when you ask aloud and join in on audio or on video as well if you prefer. Oh wow, there's quite some people here today. Shows 9 people total in the room. That's great. Glad to be able to connect with a bunch of people today. I really enjoy doing this, otherwise I wouldn't be here. It's important that we can connect in these frequencies and learn some ways of upgrading our human experience. Hello, and we say a fantastic day to you at this moment of your time. We are the Pleiadian Council, and we thank you for allowing this transmission to take place. It is as well a gift for us as it allows us to connect with your world, and through the reflections we offer each other, both you and ourselves grow in deeper connection to Source, and for this we are deeply appreciative. Today, we want to open with some more nuance on the idea of spirit guides, how you can establish connection with them, and the different sorts of spirit guides that you have. We also want to talk a little bit about some of the shadow spirit guides. And some of you consider these beings a nuisance, but we want to remind you that they are as well teachers. Spirit guides are teachers for you, though they are also mirrors for you. There are threads of parallel vibration between you and your spirit guides that make you a match. Most of this happens through soul agreement, and these guides can often be your past, future, or parallel lifetimes. As you establish connection to these guides, you may get to know them deeply and discover that there are so many more beings than you might have expected. Though, first of all, what is required in order to contact your guides is belief. Belief systems determine your behaviors and your experiences. They determine what you perceive and are capable of perceiving, as well as what you choose to do and how capable you are of doing it. Beliefs are living consciousness forms that exist within you, and they also lead to programming of your DNA. And in this way, you inherit beliefs just as much through behavior and experiences as you do through this gift of DNA that you inherit. Yet there's also mysterious programming of DNA that opens into this uncanny realm of karma, in which certain blueprints from other lifetimes are also programmed in your DNA as the soul comes to connect with the body of the unborn fetus later into pregnancy, and finally enters body completely at the time of birth. The belief required that spirit guides are, first of all, real, and that you are capable of connecting with them, and that it is safe and beneficial for you to connect with them are all required. And if you don't know how to change your beliefs, the simplest thing to do is to imagine what your experience would be if you believed all of those things to be true. There are many messages we have shared in depth about changing beliefs, and that is not the subject today, but we need to start with that point, that the people who have the experiences are those who believe that they are real. You cannot not believe it is real and then come to have that experience. The belief that such an experience is not real is an automatic preventative, barring you from ever having that experience, at least in the case of supernatural experiences. Of course, sometimes people don't think they believe in these sorts of psychic phenomena, but another part of them they are not consciously aware of believes it, even though there's our voices in their head running a lot of the time that dismiss any of these concepts. You are beings of multiplicity, meaning you have many different belief systems and even personalities to some extent running within you. And so you have to consider sometimes people do have oppositional belief systems. And that can also be a reason why some people have a difficulty going even deeper in connecting with their guide, because they might believe they are only capable of a certain degree of connection and have belief systems that prevent them from going even deeper. So these are things to be aware of if you ever find yourself getting stuck in the process. The second thing that is absolutely required for you to have these experiences is that you are bringing yourself into a grounded and peaceful state in which you slow down your consciousness to some extent in order for a different frequency of energy to connect with you. You have to tune your awareness into a specific state. And that state of being requires that you are not anxious, agitated, frustrated, fearful, any of these sorts of energies that put you in survival mode or general agitation or a great degree of distraction and discomfort with outside stimulus. You won't really get the clearest messages. Your intuition will still work to some extent, generally to guide you into a more soothed state and relaxed frequency, though you won't get the most clear signals from your guides. And some people live with belief systems due to challenging experiences that cause them to be in these sorts of states of frustration, agitation, or ungroundedness much of the time. And this becomes a block to connect with the spirit guides. So you need to create a space in which you can really relax, really surrender, and really find that true inner peace. Because if you attempt to connect, have visions, or channel when you are unbalanced, it's possible to bring in distorted information that further causes more complications in your mental body and in your behaviors. The next thing that is generally very important is that you have an open psychic field, an open imagination, and you are connected with your psychic senses. This doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be capable of having visions, but you have to be comfortable with the different psychic senses and adept in at least one of them. This can be clairvoyance, that is the visions. This is what people are most connected with or associate psychic phenomena with. But there is also clairsentience, feeling subtle phenomena and different energy. Claircognizance, intuitively and sometimes instantaneously knowing information. And clairaudience, which is hearing information or being able to translate those energies that you feel or know directly into words or some other form of expression. Sometimes clairaudience takes the form of being able to hear subtle realms of inner music or even channel music directly from one's higher self or different beings. So if you do have the belief that spirit guides are possible and that you have spirit guides and the ability to connect with them, and you find yourself in a balanced and open state, and you connect with your psychic space and senses and imagination to get the wheels turning, you ought to be able to connect with a guide to some extent. So There are many different types of guides, and we are one such type. Many of you drawn to this specific transmission are those who have connections as well with other beings that you consider extraterrestrial. Remember, that means beyond the Earth. So we are only extraterrestrial from your perspective, beyond your Earth, but that's a term that's just fine. And we are open to other terms you would use to refer to us lovingly. And we share soul history with you and your world. And that is a vast subject we've talked about at other times. Though also you have guides that are your past lives from your own planet and sometimes other planets. And these beings that are sort of like your other incarnations are beings that can help you uncover great gifts. Sometimes these gifts come naturally. You might find yourself coming to have a natural talent at some skill or some teaching that you never experienced before. You start to learn it and it feels instinctive. And sometimes you might read a book and feel as if you've always known this information because it was part of something you studied in another lifetime. And these guides act like great beacons of light to you and help you steer yourself on your path without much resistance. There are, however, guides that have not dealt with something from their other lifetime. And these guides can introduce themselves to you through a certain trouble, a certain fear or emotional burden or sadness or angst that you carry around. It can be empathically triggered by situations you see around you. You might fear something that you have never ever experienced in this lifetime. And these are the bleed through karmic challenges from other lifetimes that play out within your own consciousness. You might not know it right away, but they are gifts to you because as you work out that part of your soul history, the other version of you from that time in space can then begin to instruct you and guide you in how you may learn certain strengths from how you helped them overcome the weakness and difficulty that did not resolve in their life, but is now resolved through your focus, awareness, and attention directed towards them lovingly. Of course, when we say directed towards them, you're also directing it towards yourself because, after all, it is your own energy body that is holding these charges and processing them. You have spirit guides of the natural realm. And some of these are animal spirits. Some call them animal totems. Though indigenous cultures all around the world have always recognized that people have affinity with a particular animal, and the spirit of that animal comes to help them. These animal guides can show up in your life at different times. You can have many, many of these animal guides. Whereas these guides from your other incarnations tend to help you with very human level things. Your animal guides can help awaken a deep level of instinct within you. The deep struggles of your physical experience can be relieved as you connect with your animal guides, as they help you to find compassion for your own instinctive behaviors. By coming to learn your animal guides, you might come to understand why you behave in particular ways. If you have animal guides that go through periods of hibernation, you might find yourself being someone who hibernates a lot in your own life. If you have guides like a butterfly or a moth that goes through the process of metamorphosis, you might find yourself sometimes having to go into a cocoon in which you feel absolutely between worlds. Your animal guides can also inform your own understanding of social relationships and so much more. And you can actually call these beings inside of your body and imagine yourself to become these beings as well. Through visionary journeys, you might first meet the guides as beings in front of you and then shapeshift into them as you imagine becoming that animal and living in that animal's world. You might then come to be able to dance that animal. And as you dance to the beat of the drum, or even at a wonderful festival, something of this nature, imagining that animal spirit coming into your body and expressing itself through your being, sharing its energy with you and with the world. This animal spirit then can come to be with you all the time. You have guides of departed ones. Those that you have known who passed on can be like guides to you as well. The spiritual lessons that they master can be something that they come to show you in dreams and even in waking visions of them. You might suddenly feel their presence. Though, of course, if these beings don't release certain burdens, you might also have to help them express what is unresolved and move onward to the light, after which point they can become like guides to you. You do have guides who are your ancestors, though often if you open up to all of your ancestors, you might find that there's a lot of unresolved information that you come into contact with. And this is why it is very important for you to connect with very specific ancestors. You can set an intention to connect with guardian ancestors, specific beings along your ancestral line who reached a certain level of mastery, a higher vibration at which they were capable of having great discernment and a love-based approach to their own experience in a way that they were so connected with the light that they can point you towards the light. Not all of your ancestors reach this level of consciousness, and there might be ways that you can honor them and revere them and share with them offerings, but you ought to not give them permission to interfere with your field unless you know them to be of that high level of vibration. Now, those who work very closely with ancestors and do allow them to influence their world might find that they continue to live out many beliefs and thought forms from their ancestral line. You can notice if you have heirlooms that they possess a certain energy that helps you to connect with your family line and understand it. There are also beings of the natural world that are not just animal guides, but the nature spirits. They can be the spirits of rocks, the spirits of mountains, volcanoes, lakes, rivers. All natural places have their own spirit to them, their own sort of consciousness. And then there are many universes within all of these phenomena. These are the nature spirits. They are called by many names. The fae, the fairies, the little people, and so many other expressions in your world. There are many subspecies of them, more than we could ever name, thousands and infinite variations. They exist within their own realities, though they can meet humans somewhere in between. And some humans will have spiritual guides that come from these realms. These beings can be powerful mirrors and reflections of your own connection to nature. If you interfere with nature, these beings might become a little bit tricky and naughty. If you honor nature and honor the intuitive messages you get in your approach to nature, these beings will be very happy. It is important to honor them when you spend time in nature, and you will find greater reward comes when you give them offerings and give them treats and revere them. And certain cultures around the world have traditions of how to connect with these nature spirits. And this will be something that becomes more commonplace as the awakening moves forward. There are also spirits of mythic realms and other dimensions of Earth. We've mentioned before that Sasquatch is one such being that inhabits a different plane of your Earth that generally doesn't overlap with yours. There are many other such beings, and certain mythologies around your world point to them. There are inner Earth beings, and so many things we could discuss if we had the time to go into all of it now. And ultimately, this is a sort of side note, because generally these beings are open only to those who have already done a great deal of work exploring the other sorts of beings that might exist out there. These dimensions of Earth stopped being connected to yours for a reason. So only those who really have a deep desire to explore new frontiers and have developed a certain degree of stability in their energy body so that they might be able to handle it start to venture into those realms. There are, of course, then realms of angels, and there are different terms for this as well. We would say these are light beings that don't have a physically incarnate form. Most of the beings we've discussed up to this point incarnate into some form of experience. Angels are more like universal energies. They are beings of light. They are the messengers and directors of Source. They play a role sometimes in bridging different beings to be able to connect with each other. There is generally always an angelic presence that comes through that supports we as the Pleiadian Council and the channel in connecting. The same is true about many others who channel as well. The traditions that connect with angels speak of different sorts of vibrations of these angels according to different names. Though again, this is a detailed study. Though if all of these beings of light exist, it also implies that beings of darkness do exist too. And generally these are ghosts or those left behind fragments from other worlds. But there are also beings of darkness who have never incarnated, but who seek to bring about darkness in the world. And these beings can only attach to those who have some degree of their own negative beliefs or traumas. Without knowing it, beings make agreements at a soul level with dark beings to work together. All beings in this realm are of the light. Though the darkness and the light work together in this physical dimension to make this density, this degree of experience possible. This is the realm of the light and the dark intermingling. You are of the light, but here you get to evolve through that experience of polarity and duality. And thus, these dark beings seek to take light from you. They feed on the light, but to take the light directly from source would be dissolving for them. They would not be able to maintain their form in darkness by having a direct connection to the light. And therefore, they reach out to other souls to take the energy of the light from them. These dark beings can be very elusive in your field. Though you may or may not know they are there, we also don't want to energize any ideas that these beings influence you beyond your control. Though they do play a role in all belief systems that might make you think something like that were true. Darkness works through determinism, and beliefs that you have that lead deterministically towards negative perceptions and ideas certainly are those that feed the darkness in the world. These are the I can't do it beliefs. Things like this never happened to people like me. The world is a cruel, difficult place. And all of these sorts of ideas, whenever you think that something is inherently negative and cannot be changed about yourself or about this reality, you feed into that darkness to some degree. And these dark beings want to trick you into believing that it is true. They might trick you into believing that attaching to them is true and that allowing them in is true. There is a vast realm to explore in getting to know the beings of darkness, but the most important thing for you to know is that free will is the mandate, is the basis of physical reality. It is the gift of source that allows you to choose your own path, your own action, your own vibration, creating your own karma, leading to your own present reality. And when you fully know this, you can consciously choose to break any agreement you have with beings of darkness. And once you break that agreement and you ask them to leave, they must do so. And sometimes you have to be very firm with them. But once you have fully broken the agreement, they cannot affect you. So know this to be true and ask them to go towards the light. If they don't want to go towards the light, you might help them get to know that the light is safe. And once they return to the light, they will be healed and their burdens will dissolve. That the light is forgiving and all encompassing. And that there's a way beyond pain. Sometimes these beings don't even know that they are causing you or others harm. So you have to let them know that they are causing harm to all involved, including themselves, and that this body does not belong to them, and that they are not permitted in it or near it. Sometimes, though, these beings of darkness are not actually foreign to you, but they are actually disowned parts of your soul from this or other lifetimes. Severe childhood trauma can create personality pieces that are very repressed and feel very much like dark beings or demons. And when they get triggered, they might make you feel as if you are possessed by something dark, but they are actually your own experiences that led to these deeply fractured belief systems that need a deep level of healing to integrate. Other times, these dark beings are fragmented soul pieces from other lifetimes. And once you help them heal, that being becomes a spirit guide to you and becomes an ally that can help you along your own path and move forward. into the light and into greater understanding and healing. And finally, we must say there are those beings of the many wisdom traditions around your world and the ascended masters, who are those souls that have reached a very high state of vibration and have dedicated themselves to be spiritual guides to the collective. Some of these beings have incarnated on your earth, and some of them have never taken a form, but exist as a powerful archetypal force. All, including these beings of different mythologies, exist on these higher levels, and you can have your own connection to them. They aren't as much a personal guide, though, because they work at such a collective level, that you can have personal connections with a couple of these specific deities or beings, as they might reflect the particular types of lessons and particular types of energy you are meant to work with on this path. All of these different types of beings can be invoked by your conscious intention. And as you focus your awareness within and allow for your intuition to start to work. It must also be said that all of the other humans in your experience are your guides too. And you are meant to learn from each other as much as you are meant to learn from your own psychic experiences. You must always remember that your psychic experiences are often or distorted by your own beliefs and your own internal biases, and therefore it is very helpful for you to share about these psychic experiences with other humans so that you can more fully gain clear insight from the experiences and know how to use them in the most beneficial ways. So we thank you for allowing us to share this message with you now, and we hope it helps you very much in establishing deeper contact with your own guides and knowing all that is really out there. And now we ask, in which ways can we be of service to you with your questions, comments, musings, and inquiries, beginning whenever you would wish.
Thank you so much, Pleiadians. We have a very full Zoom room, so let's see who's got a question.
All right.
All right. Hi.
Hello. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here. This is not normal to be able to have such good internet connection. So no accidents, no coincidences. I wanted to
Absolutely.
talk to you about the idea of fragmented soul parts, like from
Yes.
other lives. Isn't everything like happening right now? Like there is no past, there is no future. Everything is now, that we are just concentrated in this frequency as to
Correct.
what we're experiencing. And these fragments are literally within us or around us in a way that we just are not able to perceive, or we perceive them as illness, or they call it like a multi-personality, these different things. Would that be a way that these, I'm using finger quotes, fragmented soul parts are reflected in our physicality? That would be the point.
It's correct that everything is here and now, and that is why this bleed through is possible. That your consciousness exists far beyond the time and space that you feel yourself within and experience yourself within. And through tapping into the deeper levels of your awareness, you allow for beings from other times and spaces and other expressions of your own soul energy to come to meet you consciously. But it is, of course, already happening without your conscious awareness. Sometimes that could lead to the experience of a disease from another lifetime. It certainly often leads to the same recurring psychological states, and it can include the same fears or the same type of relational energy between you and another person who had a similar relationship dynamic, or sometimes a reversed relationship dynamic in another lifetime.
Okay. What else was there? Okay, the animals. I get the animals. That's a very intriguing and interesting thing, especially when you spoke to us about like entering into that animal or having that animal like merge with you. That's a I've heard of that. I've seen that. And that seems it just sparked me as like, wow, I do something similar, but not to the degree that I do believe that you were sharing with us. Yeah, the whole everything is now is the most interesting thing that I've been, I don't know, concentrating on, exploring, and all the subtle energies and things around us. Again, going back to these fragmented soul parts is so fascinating to me, as if I don't know, maybe it's my perception is what I perceive my biases or whatever, but it just seems like they're they show up in, like, I guess in other people, in the animals that come to us. I'm just kind of maybe getting some clarification that is like I have a disability that I was born with, so obviously, or to me anyway, that came, like I brought that with me. There was something that I wasn't done with prior, and or again prior, or at least in that energetic form that I was where this was created. I don't know. Could you speak into that? Are you understanding or perceiving my?
Yes. Oh, yes, that's very much the
okay.
case, that sometimes diseases come with you from other lifetimes, or the disease is a way of healing from something that took place in another lifetime. And
Well,
certainly,
good. I mean,
with your
a good thing.
relationships, you know most of the people that you meet in this lifetime from another lifetime. When there's a deep and meaningful contact, generally, yes, you were connected in that other lifetime in a similar way.
Right. And yes, that has been something in my, my awareness, that there are, again, I feel very strongly that there are no accidents or coincidences as we know of them, that there is, through the entanglement of everything, that's, those things occurred through the ways and means of ourselves and others involved. So, all right. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks to you.
Thank you, Simone, for that. It leads me to want to ask a question about what is commonly referred, or people who are commonly referred to as NPCs, non-playing characters, background people. I'd love to hear what the Pleiadian Council has to say about that.
Well, some of the most extreme people using this as a theory or as a metaphor think that these NPC people don't actually have souls, and that is not true at all. All of the people that you meet have souls. Every being incarnate has a soul. Animals have souls. And yes, that wouldn't be possible for them to be soulless, but they, metaphorically calling them NPCs, as in they're people you will never really have a deep exchange of energy with, and they are just these sort of extras in your movie, is another metaphor you could use, that pass you by once or twice, and then never again do you ever have any influence from them. Yes, there are people like that, and you could sometimes be a stranger that you pass in the street from another lifetime, but that's all your connection is, and so they will feel like extras or like NPCs. Yes.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Yes.
Okay. So would those people that I'm believing to be NPCs in my world be significant players in someone else's? Or
Absolutely.
is that their... Okay. So I love
They
that.
have their
Thank
own
you so much.
experiences. They have their own worlds and their own soul connections. Generally, though, those soul connections don't overlap with your soul connections. Otherwise, you would interact with them.
Thank you so much.
Yes, so thanks to you.
I have a follow-up question to that. Thank you, Pleiadians, for this transmission.
Oh, yes.
Thank you, Jody, for that question, because that prompts me to ask about something you talked about in the earlier, in the opening message about dark guides, fragmented pieces. So if something is presenting to us in the form of a person, then incarnated as a person, so is that meaning that that is a lesson for us? And if so, then should we engage with that and try to go through the process of healing through that? Or do we set boundaries? And to your point about saying no to these darker energies, what might that mean? How does one discern that?
So you're asking about if a darker energy is getting to you through another human?
Yes. Is that what might sometimes be happening?
That can happen too. That's a bit different than what we were talking about.
Okay.
Because again, these dark energies can affect you directly. But yes, sometimes other people have their own agreements with these dark energies, and that can influence the way that they treat others. Absolutely. These sorts of beings are involved in crimes and catastrophes in your world all the time. And you have to address the person. However, you have to express your boundaries to the person who is being influenced by that dark spirit. And if the person is willing to go into a deeper sort of inner process, and they would be willing to confront the dark spirit themselves and break the agreement, you might see a change in their behavior. Though just because they break the agreement doesn't mean that they don't have their own pieces and belief systems that are in the shadow.
Okay, that makes total sense. And if I may ask a follow-up question to that, then
Yes.
do our belief systems then automatically make you in that spiritual frequency? If we believe that, like back to actually a message that you talked about last time about truth, our truth as humans is what we believe. And so if someone believes that they are quote unquote spiritual, for lack of a better term, does that automatically mean that they are at that frequency?
It offers some level of protection. If you believe that you are one with your source, and that you are your source, that offers you a certain level of protection from the dark forces that cannot be revoked. Because if you deeply believe that, as in that is an irrevocable part of your being, then the dark beings could not attempt to manipulate you into thinking otherwise and into disconnecting from that source. However, that doesn't completely protect you, because you might believe that you are one with your source, yet still have limiting beliefs as to perhaps when that source is accessible to you, or what your own capabilities are within this and other realms. And if those belief systems are still in operation, they will limit you. So understand that your belief systems are multiple. And just because you believe one thing, it doesn't mean that there isn't another belief negating it. And that's why the best thing to do is work through your negative beliefs and unprogram them and reprogram something different, as that's when you know that you won't have anything interfering with the positive beliefs and new ideas and new experiences you have along the way.
I see. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Appreciate
thanks to you. Yes.
Thank you.
Hi, Pleiadians. We have a written question I found really intriguing, which is, I saw your other YouTube channel, Pleiadian Perspective, and talking about Christianity's origins and Jesus. And I was wondering, from your perspective, what could be some of the most important advice that Jesus could have for us today?
Jesus's message overall is to love each other and to know that I am the one. When Jesus said that, he didn't necessarily mean that he is the one God. He meant that all beings are that one God, and that one God is the way. Jesus also taught about loving each other as the one. And if he were here today, he would want all beings to remember that as the truth and to open their eyes to the ways that his teachings are being used to justify actions that are absolutely not loving. He also wanted to impart that all of you are powerful, and the power that he has to heal is the power that all of you have to heal as well.
Well, he did do that. I'm sorry, I just put it in here. I was talking to myself. Anyway, he did do that. Jesus did do that. At least we read that in the Bible. You know, I
Yes.
don't read it, but I've seen snippets of it. And I wanted to, in my readings and meanderings around, is it possible, or is it maybe that was there more than one being as the one that we refer to as Jesus Christ? Were there many beings of that caliber around for a certain period of time that may have touched other civilizations, like in the Orient and South America?
There were
et cetera,
beings
et
like
cetera?
him. They were beings at a very high spiritual level that brought those high frequency energies and imparted certain teachings relevant to their time and spaces. Many of them are still widely known about now, but they weren't necessarily the same as Jesus, even if their teachings were similar.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yes.
I think there was
All right,
no. I think there was a raised hand in the room. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for this transmission.
Sure,
So
thanks,
helpful.
Sue.
I wonder if you could say something about any recommendations about a meditation process, regimen, how to continuously raise our vibrational level, to invite, for the lack of a better word, our positive spiritual guides to be more present and guide in a way that we're more aware.
Well, the meditation that you practice is according to your own needs and your own preferences. So you have to do a meditation that inspires you. It has to call to your heart and bring you that connection to your natural excitement. So don't force yourself to do a meditation if it doesn't seem like you can connect with it. Some of you will find that meditating on your breath is very helpful, or doing something like mindfulness can be very helpful. Some of you will find that guiding yourself through body awareness might be very helpful. Some of you will find that visualization is the most powerful meditation. Some of you will find meditating with nature to be very helpful and connecting your senses to the information coming in through nature. Some of you will find that focusing on mantras or affirmations or language of some kind will be the most useful meditation. Many of you will find really that combining all of these different sorts of practices serve you in different ways at different times. And that ought to be how you focus your consciousness ultimately, because all of these different meditations are helping you to learn how to use your consciousness in a new and specific way that serves you. Though your own excitement will guide you to the sort of meditation that is most relevant to you in the moment according to what your needs are. In order to connect with guides, you have to do a sort of meditation that involves activating your psychic senses. And therefore, using visualization in some way is very helpful. But if the visual sense isn't your most predominant psychic sense, then you want to work with your other senses like clairvoyance, or rather clairsentience or claircognizance. The best place to start is to visualize an all-encompassing light that is white, clear, diamond, or golden, or perhaps a mixture of different colors. And feel it in your heart and visualize it going through your entire body. Know that this is source light. And connect with this as a sensation, as a vibration as well. Staying connected in this way, continuing to stay tuned psychically with the senses that help you to experience this light. You can come to invite in beings of this vibration into your consciousness and allow them to connect with you in whatever way you feel most connected to this light energy. If it's the visualization of the light, allow your mind to let that light take shape and form. If it's sensational, allow that energy deeper into your being and see where it wants to communicate with you at a physical level, bringing you to a deeper level of inner knowing.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, and thanks to you as well.
Any other questions from Sue?
I have a question.
Yes.
Thank you for this transmission. I appreciate it.
Oh, and thanks to you as well.
I had a question with just a little clarity on everything is within you. So like when you talk about guides, I kind of think to myself, are we just manifesting these guides? Like it's within us and we're creating it. And it makes me wonder, like, everything that we create we're creating outside of us. There's nothing outside of us. So like if we go and call our guides, it's just you talking to you. That's
To
my
an
thought
extent,
process.
yes. To an extent, yes, though that would also mean that you are the beings from all your other lifetimes. And in one lifetime, you were a princess in Persia, but that is not necessarily your experience in this lifetime. So considering that the same you that walks around and lives your day-to-day experience might not be helpful. But in another way, it is you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense about other lifetimes and 17 is life. It's just like the calling in guides part. It's just like
Well,
for
if you
me,
don't want
like
to call
there's
them
nothing
guides, call
outside.
them whatever you want to call them. And it's not as much as you are making them up, but that you are becoming aware of them. They already existed in the field of your soul, but you finally uncovered them. You finally discovered them when you meet them.
Can I just jump in here and say that when you meet them doesn't necessarily mean they're going to materialize in front of you? I just want to make that clear because I used to think that.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
But
they
it's
will,
usually
maybe
more
they won't.
of a subtle energy. It's more of a subtle energy that you'll perceive within your body. That's another thing maybe we should talk about, is how our physical body is in tune with all of this energy that's around us, and it, like, the misaligning of that energy or stuff may show up within us as an illness or a cancer or something like that. There's validity that I might not be saying it right, but you can feel this stuff around you.
Yes, it's in you. It is you. It is you. Otherwise, you wouldn't experience it. It is within you, but we want to make it clear that just because it feels as if it emerges from your imagination, it's not that you are making it up. You don't consider that you make your dreams up. You have your dreams. Yet dreams and visions function through the same aspect of your consciousness. It's simply that in dreams, you feel a little bit less in control because you are unconscious. That is until you become lucid and awake within the dream. So these visions that you are having are an active way of engaging with the information in your field, in your psychic realm, in your mind, in your soul that has always been there. And yes, the beliefs and the information running in your field can manifest diseases at times. This happens through beliefs and behaviors, and the diseases themselves are reflections of specific belief systems. Sometimes these translate from other lifetimes. They are carried from those lifetimes, and oftentimes they're carried through your genes. Though if you want to heal a disease, you have to understand what beliefs are causing the disease to be present.
I'm sitting here talking. Yes. I just want to, because I operated a lot in that realm as far as, looking for the bigger picture, like, why did that spider just crawl across my hand? There's no accident. There's trying to tell me something, and they all have their little messages. But I don't believe anything lies right in the middle of it. I either know it or I don't. And what I do know is that that doctors wanted to put me in a wheelchair 14 years ago, and something told me that I was too darn young to do that, and I'm still walking, though I use canes, and I do have a deteriorated whatever disorder, debilitating or just deteriorating anyway. But this, something always causes it, like the creator created us perfect, like creator created its creation's perfect. It has to, the idea that we recycle, we reincarnate, and everything is that ever has been or ever will be is still occurring, puts this in like maybe a much bigger perspective than some are willing to look at. But this,
yes,
I feel strongly that everything happens because of what we think, say, and do, and with the collaboration of what others are thinking, saying, and doing, and the repeated of misinformation, and the
that is all correct.
The leaving out of pertinent. Yeah. So anyway, there's something about that, and I
everything
think this
happens
might
through
be a
soul
good time
choice.
to...
You decide when you incarnate what you incarnate into, and you decide the circumstances around your life and the parents and all of it. So you have to understand that everything you experience is a soul level choice. And by learning to connect consciously with the soul level, you can change those choices and become more clear in what you prefer to experience.
Okay.
How do you
that
guys
Alright.
perceive
puts it in
guide?
perspective. Thank you.
What was that?
How do you guys perceive your guide?
You are in a way guides to us. Everyone is a guide. Everyone is a mirror reflection pointing us back. So we communicate with other extraterrestrial beings and angelic beings and other beings in other realms just as much as we communicate with each other. And we point each other back to the source through the reflections we offer to each other, as we begin most transmissions by saying.
Thank you.
All right, other people in the Zoom room got questions? Otherwise, we've got a couple of written questions.
There, someone wrote a question in the chat. Jody did. Just FYI.
That's okay. Molly can go. I wrote it in the chat so that I didn't take up all the time and go too much. Thank you.
I don't have a question. I was just making sure it didn't get lost.
Well, what's the
Jody,
question then? Because it is
Jody,
not lost.
Jody, do you want to go ahead or you want us to read it?
Okay. Thank you. This just feels so good. So, talking about diseases, past lives, all of that, are all of these diseases and troubles that we have in these lives a result of past lives or other consecutive lives, right? Corresponding lives, however you say it. Our current belief systems here or soul contracts that we decided we were going to have. Are there other explanations in addition to those three, if those three are even valid?
Consider that there are multiple levels of causation. Causation isn't just one thing happened that caused me to do whatever mistake. There was a series of things leading to it. There was likely a pattern of habitual behaviors, but all orchestrated in a specific way to bring to that specific outcome. So it cannot be said that your karma from another lifetime is the only cause of what you experience in this lifetime, because there are present life levels of cause and probably the same or similar situation played out in multiple lifetimes. And all of these like vibrations coalesce so that you have this experience in this lifetime. So your karma is not fixed and unchanging, though certain levels of it might be. Certain aspects of your DNA are just the way they are. You were programmed that way. But there are other levels of your soul energy and even your body that can be changed and adjusted. And so perhaps you have past life or other life karma to have a specific dis-ease. But if you change the choices that you make and change the beliefs that would lead you to make those choices in the present moment and have a healthier lifestyle that brings your body to be more resilient to that disease, that karma that was seeming to align and was at an energetic level bringing its way into your body becomes transformed, and you no longer manifest that which was in your vibrational blueprint in your vortex and coming towards you, as some say.
I'll have to listen to that again. Thank you.
Oh, thanks
Very
to you as
good.
well.
There's a kind of follow-up question on YouTube, which is Jesus watching over us, and does he become come to our assistance if we call upon his name? And is it the same for other
Listen,
gods?
everyone is here right now. Every being of light, Buddha, Jesus, Allah, Krishna, and the others that you've never heard of are all here and now. All of your own guides are here and now too. Everything that's ever existed and will ever exist is just as much here and now. If you aren't experiencing it, it's because you're not tuning your vibration into it. The best thing you can do is tune your vibration into the one source, the all that is at the core of your being, expressing itself to you immediately as your own higher self, that you know to be real through the presence of love, harmony, joy, passion that you experience at the core of your being. And this will bring you to connect with whatever guides that you need to connect with. And if Jesus is the guide that is most relevant for you to connect with, then Jesus will be with you and you will know it. Remember, Jesus is always with you. Sometimes you might know it and feel it, and other times there is a different belief system that comes up and blocks the connection. If you remove the belief system that blocked that connection, you would absolutely know Jesus was there all the time and feel Jesus there all the time. And you can replace whatever guide that you as an individual personally want to connect with into those statements if you would prefer. Everything is here and now, leaves nothing out. And it does mean in every single moment, it's all here and now as well. Now, would Jesus come to help you? Like any healer or any guide, they will offer you their vibration. And you can choose whether or not you would like to tune into that vibration. That is the help they offer. And their guidance in helping you tune to that vibration might come through a sensation of energy, or it might come through a message or through a vision that helps you adapt that vibration more. Will they change things around you so that it works out for the better? It might seem that way if you really change your vibration. That's actually what happens when you change your vibration, is that you shift into a different version of reality in which you are more trusting that everything is working out for you, and so that everything does work out for you. But remember, in those instances, it wasn't your guides that did it for you. It was your willingness to surrender to your higher self and allow your guidance to be received and adapted and executed through your actions and through your own energy. And then you step into a world in which things work out for you. Of course, there's experiences in which beings can move things around in your physical surroundings. And sometimes if you ask nicely for such assistance, those beings might support you. But generally, you have to be self-empowered, because your guides cannot be the ones that do all of the actions of your life and bring about the results that you seek. Your guides will always be very enthused to meet you in meditation, though if you only experience love and passion in that passive form of the inward journey, you will get to a vibrational plateau, because remember, life is about action. The actions you take to share that energy with your world and help other people raise to that level of vibration. And that isn't to say that meditation is not an action. We're just saying that there are a few who will find it relevant to their sole purpose to live in a monastery or in a yogi cave and simply do everything on that inner level of consciousness. Most of you will want to learn from your guides and bring their energy out into your world in some tangible way.
Very beautiful. Can you check in with the channel if it's okay to continue a little bit? As one YouTube
yes,
question and make
that would be
another
fine.
on
That would be more than fine.
Amazing. So
All
anyone
right.
on Zoom want to ask a question?
Actually, I do have a quick, hopefully a quick question that's follow-up
All right.
to Richard. Thank you so much. So about the kind of almost manifestation that we can bring into our lives can you talk a little bit about ways in which maybe guides might be, so to speak, tapping us on the shoulder? For instance, the whole concept of angel numbers and things like that might appear to us as a way of noticing or a way of tapping into that higher consciousness, if that makes sense.
Well, generally, these messages that come in the form of signs are orchestrated through your own higher mind. And yes, angels may be present when you get into the flow of synchronicity because they're always present. So if you want to call them angel numbers because you become aware of your connection to angels when you see them, by all means, go right ahead. When you are in the flow of your passion and you aren't insisting on the outcome and you're living it as fully as you can, as best as you can do it, then that flow of synchronicity will always be there. And there will be many beings that are acting to you like guides, and you will be able to get the information you need through the mirror reflection of life all the time. And the guides can show up for you more when you're in such a state because you're more receptive. And this could mean that you hear whispers in your ears, or it could mean that you feel a sneaking sensation moving in your body, or it could mean when your friend proposes a certain idea that chills move up your spine and there's a resounding yes that you feel in your heart. That is your intuition working with you. And sometimes you know that a specific guide is there. Sometimes you don't know that guide is there, but nonetheless, they are working. And sometimes it is only your higher self that you are establishing contact with. What is important then is the information and the energy, and less so who it comes from. Because if you're getting the information and direction you need, you get where you need to go.
Yes. Thank you so much. My gratitude, Pleiadians.
Oh, gratitude to you as well. Yes.
Thank you.
There's a final written question, for now at least, which is, if you were in our shoes, how would you deal with very positive experiences and memories as well as very negative ones?
Positive experiences are great, and they ought to help you build a roadmap as to how to have those experiences. If you look back at the moments you felt the most positive and aligned, and you can notice the core underlying threads, what brought you to have such a good experience? Likely you can see that you followed the formula in order to access that frequency. You had those positive experiences because you were doing something you loved, and you didn't take it so seriously that you attached to the results of it, and you applied yourself. Though there are also very specific and personal lessons according to each experience. You might notice that some of these most favorite memories were ones in which you overcame particular fears or challenged yourself to do something that you didn't do ever before. And these memories can be a way to help you to elevate back into that frequency and to savor the wisdom that you've gained. Though the challenge of positive memories for some of you sometimes becomes that you attach to those experiences and talk about them as the good old times without necessarily recognizing that that same energy that you felt is just as much here and now as it's ever been. And these times are the only times that are good times, because the now, this moment, is all you will ever experience. So when you contrast this moment towards a past moment and say, this moment isn't as good as that memory I had, you're robbing yourself of your joy. And there are many people who do this, especially later in their lives, and they start to forget that perception, experience, and the inner journey is just as much important as many of the things that your society values, that youth gives greater access to. You must remember it's all within your own experience and your own heart. And if you're bringing your heart to open and connect with the source, you will have that joy regardless of the circumstances you're in. Remember that when you align your state of being to be such that you experience unconditional acceptance and positive focus, your outer circumstances stop mattering so much. And when you are that accepting and that open, almost certainly, almost through, as if through magic, your circumstances will change to reflect your state of being. So state of being is more important than the experience that you have. And you ought to find that the more you get adept at quickly shifting your state of being, the more circumstances align positively in your life as well. If you ever find yourself bemoaning certain situations and feeling bad for yourself, notice how that energy leads to more experiences that match that frequency. Open yourself instead to appreciate why these experiences are happening and the gifts of potential lessons that these experiences have. If the only lesson is guiding you to not have that same experience ever again, it was still a positive experience because it was necessary in order for you to learn how to have the experiences you prefer and avoid the experiences that you don't prefer. And when you know that, everything becomes a positive experience.
Wow, thank you so much for that. That was absolutely amazing. So let's open up for the Zoom one last time. And if there's no more questions, I hope that you will feel like doing a closing meditation of connecting with one spirit guide, for example. That could be very exciting. But yeah, let's see what happens. Seems like there are no more questions on Zoom. So, however you feel like ending this amazing transmission, it's going to be great. And on behalf of everybody, thank you so much.
Begin by closing your eyes. And take a deep breath in through your nose, as slow as you can. Hold the breath for a moment at the top. And exhale slowly as well. Do this several more times. breathing in completely, seeing if you can pull in even more oxygen than you're comfortable breathing in. Just going a bit beyond your limit. And exhaling slowly. After one more breath, we'll take a moment to shift our focus. With a final deep conscious exhalation, bring your awareness simply to observe the breath. Notice if it's deep or shallow, gentle or heavy. Before you channel and connect, you want to bring yourself into this more balanced state of being. Now we invite you to visualize an immense, brilliant light in the center of your heart that travels through your entire body and gradually grows to surround your body, energizing every cell and the space around your body. Seeing yourself sitting in this giant glowing egg shape. Feel roots of light growing out from your body that go all the way down to the core of the earth, anchoring you here. And see a channel of light that goes out through the top of your head and goes through the moon and the sun all the way to the center of the galaxy, connecting with many stars connected to our solar system, your solar system rather, along the way. Feel your egg-shaped aura, then be sent out along this pillar, all the way into the center of the galaxy, where you feel yourself blending with the source consciousness, blending with the all that is, experiencing yourself as one ray of light in an infinite sea of light that's all encompassing. And as you bring your own unique ray of light more and more into your own body, see another thread of light connected to that source emerge and travel down in front of you. And just as much as you see yourself sitting in this brilliant egg shape, see another brilliant egg shape sitting in front of you, connected to the galaxy, connected to the earth. Now feel a connection open between your heart and their heart, between all of your chakras and all of their chakras. And allow your psychic senses to become activated. Perhaps you see their face or faces. Perhaps you see them in different scenes of their past or future life. You might hear the sound of their voice or hear them speak to you. You might simply feel their energy as a soothing presence or a different sort of vibration that comes over you. Ask them the questions that are relevant and for them to explain their connection with you and why they've come to meet you on this day. Ask how you can know they are present and how you can call upon them when you don't feel as if they are present. And ask them what is the theme that you are exploring together? What is the medicine that you are helping each other learn to embody deeper? And you may wish to invite their sphere of light to blend with yours and feel them step into you, recognizing that they are a part of you. They may sometimes appear as outside of you, and sometimes you might experience them within your own body. Different circumstances or call for different ways of interaction. Keep your mind open to getting to know them more and more over time, understanding that there are many layers to your connection with them that might seem to contradict each other at different times, but know that you will get the full picture the more you go along the journey. Allow that connection to complete and conclude in graceful openness and gratitude. Knowing that you will be able to meet them whenever you wish. And again, slowing your breath down, taking in more energy, preparing yourself to return, bringing this energy with you into your lives. We thank you for allowing this transmission to take place, and we wish you a fantastic rest of your day, and we will see you next time then.
Wow, that was cool.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed the session today. Wow.
Thank you so much, Dante.
You're welcome. You are all really welcome.
Thank you so much. It was great.
Glad to hear it. Yay.
Amazing meditation at the end. Wow.
Oh. Glad to hear that too. So, wanted to share what's going on. This is the website, dantestarshine.com. And if you type your email in here, like that, and you hit this button, then you join the mailing list. And then you get an email letting you know whenever these sessions begin. There's also the Channeling and Intuitive Healing course. Ignore that. It's already completed, but as more people sign up, the next course will have its official date. So we need a minimum of 4 people to make it happen. You can find out about channeling sessions. You can all these different readings, blah, blah, blah. And this is the, where is it? The guidebooks Living Love on Earth is a channeled book that gives the whole cosmology and worldview of the Pleiadian Council. There's many meditations and how you can apply these teachings to transform your lives and beliefs and open up more psychic gifts. Really recommend this book. And then to go deeper with me one-to-one, book a /contact, all sorts of options here. And you also find the information there about any ways of donating if you like to support these live stream sessions. They are free. It is an optional donation, but it really helps me in making this possible and getting this out to you regularly. And I really appreciate it. So thanks again. And how was the transmission, everybody? How did you experience it today?
This was a first for me. It was amazing.
Oh, I'm really glad to hear that.
For me, it was like number 100, and I took notes 3 times of something really deep that hasn't been touched before. So very, very happy about this.
Yeah.
For me, I found it very validating and synchronistic to what I've just been feeling and knowing and experiencing on my own path. And so it was just wonderful to listen along and just feel like, yeah, I was right there with you with everything. And I was
Excellent.
like, yes, confirmation. So yeah, it was wonderful. Yeah.
Excellent. Glad to hear that, and good to see you.
Good to see you too, always.
Yeah. Is the rainy season raining a lot?
I don't know if I'd say a lot, but it's raining, I feel like more than last year, definitely, which is good. We need it, honestly.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, we got some clouds rolling in. I don't know if you can see if I show.
Yeah.
Probably too bright, but
A little bright, but
there's clouds rolling in for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was really nice
Also
to have
wanna-
to reflect on the opening message and ask questions relevant to the opening message. I felt like it went so much deeper because we had some time to really contemplate and kind of have like a dialogue within the room. It was really nice.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad it played out that way.
Yeah, holding space for us. Thank you, Dante.
You are so welcome. Thank you.
Thank
joining
I also
us.
want to mention that since there was a lot of new people today, is that the private sessions you can get is potentially extremely valuable. The story that I've shared a couple of times during the last couple of years is that I think it was 3 years ago, the first session I had with Dante, I developed a very, very nasty condition with my feet that was not supposed to be healed if you Google it or ask any expert. It's been a career-ending thing for many, many athletes. And so I asked them about it, and they gave me two pretty simple drills. And within 3 to 4 days, it was literally gone. I could walk again with no pain. So I'm not, I can't say, Dante or the Pleiadians say that anything like that's going to happen, but that's what's possible once they dial into your energy. Um, I'm still flabbergasted that it was possible because I researched the heck out of it. And just these two simple things that they gave me, boom, it was gone. 3 to 4 days.
Wow.
Shouldn't be possible, but it was. And I just thought of it recently because I took up running again, and I was just in so much gratitude that that was even possible. So, again, thank you so much.
Magic solutions. Love it. Thanks for sharing. Thank you for sharing that though. Yeah. I've seen some pretty uncanny things turn around for people really fast through sessions. Sometimes people in the middle of the session uncover memories that were buried for years or connect with their guides and have these like big breakthroughs and realize things that were just on the edge of their consciousness. So yeah, it's an inspiring thing to be able to do, and that's why this work is so important. So always, keep yourself on your path too, because people need other people to keep guiding the way and break down the old distorted paradigms of doing things on this planet.
I feel like this ties right back to what they were saying about belief as well.
Yeah.
Like if you believe or know something to be possible in your reality, it highly brings up the possibility of that quite a lot.
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely. And like with the example I just mentioned, I didn't have a particular belief that it was going to work. I was actually a bit skeptical because, like I said, I had been researching the hell out of it. And okay, so they gave me those two drills, and I trusted Dante and the Pleiadians, so I thought, okay, let me do it and see what happens. And then, boom. So it was definitely not belief driven. It was taking action, like they mentioned today, which was very cool. And results happened.
Yeah.
I also feel like that's a lot with like that whole thing around expectation being a silent killer when you're dealing with manifestation, because it can almost block your real synchronistic flow sometimes. So I feel like belief or allowing yourself to be open to something is also different than like expecting that to definitely happen. And I feel like there's often more magic when you release the expectation and you trust the flow in however it unfolds, which is exactly, I feel like, what happened in your case. Which is great.
Yeah, very good point.
Yeah, I would say we have to do what we expect will work because that's cooperating with our beliefs. And then letting go of that insistence on the outcome is what allows those expectations to come to fruition. And it's also what allows us to pay very close attention to maybe the reflections coming that something about our expectations were off and we need to adjust our actions. And the other important thing to remember about belief systems is that they automatically lead to actions. And every time we're acting, we are being driven by our belief systems. Our beliefs are what cause us to take certain actions and prefer certain actions and, you know, rationalize why different actions are better than others. So, and this is also, you know, why belief is required whenever we find ourselves stuck or doing something and not understanding why we're doing it. We have to recognize what is driving us beyond the core. What are we believing that makes that behavior possible? Because no one will ever do anything that they don't believe that has benefits.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah.
Alrighty, everybody. Thanks for being here, and maybe we'll try to connect with you again next Wednesday or Thursday. I will post the announcement sometime early next week. And I really appreciate you for joining, and thanks for supporting the transmission. And of course, the best way to support is letting other people know, those of your friends or other light workers that you come into contact with, or people just wanting to expand their consciousness and have a better experience. Let them know about this if you feel like it might serve them. And we'll hopefully continue to grow and reach more people. And thanks for doing your own good work into the world and letting yourself follow your formula and be in your bliss, because that's what's going to make the world a better place. Much love, blessings, and yeah, see you next time.
Thanks, Dante.
Bye.
Adios. Bye bye.
Adios.